Your friend just posted another picture from their weekend trip to Miami. Designer sunglasses, bottle service at some club, staying at a hotel that costs more per night than your rent. Meanwhile, you're sitting at home eating leftover pasta, wondering what you're doing wrong with your life. Here's the thing. There's a really good chance your friend is completely broke, like actually broke. And today, I'm going to show you why the people who look the richest around you are often the ones in the most financial trouble, and how to make sure you're not falling into the same trap. My name is Arthur, and I spend way too much time thinking about why people who look wealthy are usually anything but. If you're someone who feels like everyone around you is doing better financially than you are, even though you're working just as hard, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because what I'm about to show you is going to completely change how you look at wealth, success, and especially how you look at your own finances. Look, let me start with a statistic that should wake you up. According to a 2023 survey by Bankrate, 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, not just low-income workers. We're talking about people making $100,000, $150,000, even $200,000 a year. Think about that for a second. 8 out of 10 people around you, no matter how good their life looks on Instagram, are one unexpected expense away from serious financial stress. But here's what most people don't realize. The people who look the wealthiest are often the most financially fragile. There's actually a term for this: wealth signaling. It's when people spend money specifically to look successful, rather than to actually build wealth. Your coworker with the brand new BMW, there's a good chance they're paying $800 a month for 72 months on that car. That's $57,600 over 6 years for a car. That's going to be worth maybe $20,000 by the time they finish paying it off. Your friend who always has the latest iPhone, the newest sneakers, goes out to expensive restaurants 3 times a week. The math on that is insane. Let's break it down. New iPhone every year, $1,200. Designer sneakers, let's say 1 pair every 2 months, $3,600 a year. Expensive dinners 3 times a week at $100 per meal, $15,600 a year. That's over $20,000 a year just on those 3 categories. And we haven't even talked about the trips, the clothes, the watches, the bottle service. Now, you might be thinking, well, maybe they just make a lot of money. And sure, maybe they do. But here's where it gets really interesting. There's this incredible book called The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley and William Danko. They studied actual millionaires, not Instagram millionaires, but people with legitimate net worths over $1 million. And what they found was completely counterintuitive. The majority of real millionaires drive used cars. The most popular car among millionaires when the study was done, a Ford F-150. Live in middle-class neighborhoods, wear inexpensive watches, shop at regular stores, don't look wealthy at all. Meanwhile, the people living in expensive houses, driving luxury cars, wearing designer everything, a huge percentage of them have negative net worths. They owe more than they own. Let me give you a real example. I have a friend. We'll call him Marcus. Marcus is a doctor, makes about $250,000 a year. Sounds amazing, right? He should be wealthy. Here's Marcus's life. $4,500 a month mortgage on a house in a nice neighborhood. $1,200 a month for 2 luxury car payments. $500 a month on his boat. Yes, a boat. $800 a month on private school for his kids. Expensive vacations multiple times a year. Always has the latest tech, the nicest clothes. We did the math once over drinks. After taxes, Marcus takes home about $145,000 a year. His fixed expenses? Over $120,000 a year. He has maybe $2,000 a month for everything else. Food, gas, entertainment, savings, unexpected expenses. Marcus looks rich. Marcus is not rich. Marcus is stressed out of his mind about money, but he can't tell anyone because he's supposed to be successful. Now, compare that to another friend. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah makes $75,000 a year as a marketing manager. She drives a 10-year-old Honda Civic that's paid off, rents a normal apartment, cooks most of her meals. Her biggest splurge is a nice vacation once a year. But here's the thing. Sarah saves $1,500 a month every single month. That's $18,000 a year. She's been doing this for 8 years. With investment returns, Sarah has over $200,000 saved at 32 years old. Marcus, who makes more than 3 times what Sarah makes, has about $15,000 in his savings account. and over $500,000 in debt. Who's actually winning? So why do people do this? Why do smart, educated people spend themselves into oblivion just to look successful? There are a few psychological forces at play here, and they're really powerful. First, there's something called relative deprivation. Basically, humans don't measure their success in absolute terms. We measure it relative to the people around us. You don't feel rich or poor based on what you have. You feel rich or poor based on what you have compared to your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors. Social media has made this 1,000 times worse. You're not just comparing yourself to the people you actually know. You're comparing yourself to everyone. You see someone's highlight reel, and you think that's their everyday life. Second, there's the hedonic treadmill. This is the idea that no matter what you buy, the happiness from that purchase fades really quickly, and then you need the next thing to get that same feeling. That new car feels amazing for about 2 weeks, then it's just your car. So you start thinking about the next upgrade. Third, and this is the big one, there's what I call financial insecurity overcompensation. The people who are the most insecure about their financial status are often the ones who spend the most trying to prove they're doing well. It's like wearing a mask. The bigger and more expensive the mask, the more they're trying to hide. Here's what most people don't realize. Truly wealthy people don't need to prove anything. They have actual security, so they don't need the symbols of security. There's a reason Warren Buffett lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. There's a reason Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray t-shirt every day. There's a reason so many actual billionaires drive regular cars and live relatively normal lives. They have nothing to prove. Okay, so how do you actually tell who's fake rich versus who has real wealth? Here are the signs. Sign number 1, the income to lifestyle ratio doesn't make sense. If someone makes $80,000 a year, but lives like they make $200,000, something's off. Either they have family money, they're in massive debt, or they're about to be in massive trouble. Sign number 2, they talk about money a lot. Real wealth is quiet. People who are actually financially secure don't need to constantly talk about how much things cost, what they bought, where they went. If someone's always bringing up the price of things or humble bragging about expenses, that's a red flag. Sign number 3, everything's financed. The car, leased. The watch, monthly payments. The vacation, put it on a credit card. If someone never actually owns anything outright, they're not building wealth, they're renting a lifestyle. Sign number 4, no emergency fund cushion. This is the big one. Ask someone, tactfully, what would happen if they lost their job tomorrow? If the answer is panic, stress, or I'd be in serious trouble within a month, they're not wealthy. They're one missed paycheck away from catastrophe. Sign number 5, the upgrade cycle never ends. Real wealth accumulates. Fake wealth constantly replaces. If someone is always getting the new version of everything, new phone, new car, new furniture, new everything, they're not getting ahead. They're on the treadmill. Look, I'm not saying never enjoy your money. I'm not saying live like a monk and eat ramen every day. But there's a massive difference between strategic spending on things that genuinely improve your life and spending to impress people who don't actually care about you. Let me show you some math that'll blow your mind. Let's say you're 25 years old. You have 2 choices. Choice A, spend an extra $500 a month on looking successful. Nice car payment, designer clothes, fancy dinners, whatever. Choice B, invest that $500 a month in a boring index fund. If you choose option A, over the next 40 years, you'll have spent $240,000 on looking successful, and you'll have nothing to show for it except old stuff and faded memories. If you choose option B, and invest that $500 a month at an average 10% annual return, which is roughly what the S&P 500 has done historically, you'll have $2.65 million by the time you're 65. Read that again. $2.65 million versus zero. That's not even accounting for the stress, the debt payments, the anxiety that comes with living beyond your means. And here's the crazy part. By the time you're 50, when your friends are still making car payments and stressing about money, you could be legitimately wealthy, actually financially independent, not worried about layoffs or market downturns or any of it. But it requires doing something that feels completely backwards, looking broke while you're building wealth. So what should you actually do with this information? First, Stop comparing yourself to people's outsides. You have no idea what's going on with their finances. That friend with the perfect Instagram life might be drowning in credit card debt. You just don't know. Second, get really clear on what actual wealth means to you. Is it a number in your bank account? Is it freedom to quit a job you hate? Is it not having anxiety every time you check your balance? Define it for yourself, not based on what other people are doing. Third, run your own numbers. Seriously, sit down this week and calculate what you actually make after taxes, what you actually spend, what you're actually saving, what you'll actually have in 10, 20, 30 years if you keep doing what you're doing. Most people never do this. They just kind of vibe their way through their finances and then wonder why they're stressed all the time. Fourth, make one change, not 10 changes. One. Maybe it's canceling a subscription you don't use. Maybe it's committing to cooking dinner 4 nights a week instead of ordering out. Maybe it's setting up an automatic transfer of $100 a month to a savings account. Small changes compound. That's literally how wealth is built, not through one big windfall, but through consistent, boring decisions over time. And finally, and this is important, give yourself permission to opt out of the comparison game. You don't need the new iPhone. You don't need to go to every expensive dinner. You don't need to keep up with people who are pretending to be rich. Real wealth is being able to sleep at night. Real wealth is not being stressed about money. Real wealth is having options. Look, here's the bottom line. Most of the people around you who look rich are not rich. They're in debt, they're stressed, and they're trapped in a cycle of spending to maintain an image. You have a choice. You can keep playing that game, or you can quietly build actual wealth while everyone else is busy looking wealthy. I know which one I'd choose. The next time you see someone with the new car, the designer bag, the expensive vacation photos, don't feel jealous. Feel relieved. Relieved that you're not carrying that debt. Relieved that you're building something real instead of something that looks good on social media. Your future self, the one who's actually financially free, is going to thank you for making the boring choice today. If this video helped shift your perspective on wealth and what it actually means, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more content about the psychology and mathematics of money. And drop a comment below. I want to know, what's one thing you're going to stop spending money on to look successful? I'll see you in the next one.